What really goes down when you abandon the narcissist? Let's clear something up right from the start. When a narcissist is left behind, it doesn't just hurt. It doesn't just bruise their ego. It shatters their entire world. And no, it's not because they're heartbroken. Not because they're mourning love or feeling genuine loss. That kind of emotional depth isn't what drives them. What shatters them is the one thing they can't tolerate: the loss of control. Because to a narcissist, you were never just a partner. You were their favorite puppet, the one who responded the way they wanted, who validated their image, who played the role they wrote for you. And when you walk away, you're not just ending a relationship, you're stepping out of the script. You're refusing to dance to their tune. And that is the one thing they are utterly unprepared for. Here's what most people don't understand. The same narcissist who constantly threatens to leave, who drops ultimatums, who vanishes without warning, who declares, "I'm done," like it's a weapon, is actually terrified that you will be the one to walk away first. That's the hidden truth beneath all the drama. They posture and perform, acting like they're in charge, like they hold all the power. But the moment you start pulling back, the moment you stop reacting, the moment you begin to disengage, that's when the mask starts to slip. Suddenly, the calm, indifferent act evaporates. The silence turns into panic. The control they thought they had begins to unravel. And that's when the circus begins. The games, the manipulation, the sudden accidental messages, the attempts to provoke a reaction. It's not about missing you, it's about regaining control. It's about proving they still matter, that they still have power over your emotions. Because for all their bluster, for all their threats, the one thing they can't survive is being left behind on someone else's terms. And when you do it, when you walk away without begging, without fighting, without looking back, you do more than leave. You expose them. You defeat them. And that's why they can't let go. And here's the kicker. You start second-guessing yourself. You're sitting there going, "What just happened? Why do I feel like I'm the bad guy?" That confusion, that mental chaos, that's by design. The narcissist isn't afraid of losing you. They're afraid of losing their grip on you. That version of reality they sold everyone, the perfect partner, the doting lover, the hero, you walking away threatens to blow the whole illusion to bits. See, the narcissist doesn't fear being alone. They fear being powerless. Powerless to bend you. Powerless to pull supply out of you like they always did. The fear of abandonment for a narcissist isn't soft and emotional. It's sharp, cold, and calculated. It's the fear of no longer being able to use someone. And trust this, they don't like that one damn bit. Let's get one thing straight. A narcissist isn't trying to connect with you. Not in the way most people understand connection. That warm, emotional, we're in this together kind of bond. Forget it. That's not how their brain's wired. To the narcissist, you're not a partner. You're a pawn, a lever, a wrench in their toolbox. Something to use, twist, and toss aside when you're no longer useful. They don't do love the way you do. They don't even play the same game. They play to win. And winning for them looks like control. As long as they've got their hooks in you, as long as you're chasing, crying, confused, they feel good. Safe. In charge. That's their sweet spot. But the moment you wake up, the moment you stop needing them, stop reacting, stop jumping when they push a button, that's when everything starts to crack. The mask? Slipping. The grip? Weakening. The panic? Setting in. And they can feel it. Oh yeah, they know. Even if you haven't said a damn thing, even if you're playing it cool, they sense it. Like a shark smells blood in the water. That's when they shift gears. Fast. Suddenly, the relationship gets weird. Edgy. Off. One minute it's cold shoulder, the next it's wild accusations, then it's love bombing like it's Valentine's Day on steroids. Mood swings out of nowhere. Fights over nothing. All of it designed to throw you off balance. Make you doubt yourself, make you feel like you're the crazy one. That's the whole game. And if all that chaos doesn't work, if they feel you're really about to walk, they flip. That stone-cold, harsh, manipulative narcissist becomes charming, sweet, all smiles and "I've changed," and "I love you," and you mean everything to me. Suddenly they're affectionate, generous, present. But don't fall for it. That shift? It's not love, it's strategy. It's desperation dressed up in roses and apologies. Because the old tricks aren't working anymore. And that scares the hell out of them. Think back. The last time you tried to do your own thing, go on a trip, see family, spend a weekend with friends, what happened? At first, they might have acted cool, maybe even pushed you to go. But as the day got closer, the tension thickened. Little arguments popped up out of nowhere. One snide comment turned into a full-blown fight. Why? Because they need to create drama around you leaving. They need to make sure you associate separation with stress, guilt, and anxiety. They want leaving to feel like dragging a bag of bricks uphill in a thunderstorm. Because if they can train you to feel pain every time you pull away, they can keep you trapped, controlled. They don't care what you're doing. They care that you're not doing it with them, or for them, or around them. The narcissist doesn't just mess with your head, they train you to self-destruct. And the worst part, they do it so smoothly, so subtly, that you start thinking maybe, just maybe, all this pain is your fault. Like you're the problem. Like you caused the cold stares, the mood swings, the explosions that come out of nowhere. Like you pushed the wrong button, said the wrong thing, or simply existed in the wrong way. So now you're tap dancing through landmines, bending over backwards, trying to fix something that was never broken. You weren't the issue. But try telling yourself that when you're deep in the fog, because the second you think you've got it under control, like finally things are settling down, boom, another storm, another guilt trip, another reminder that peace is rented and the rent is due every damn second. And here's the kicker. It doesn't stop when you leave. Oh no. Even when you're out the door, a silent warfare begins. Cold shoulders, snide little jabs, acting like you're invisible, like your existence is a burden. Why? Simple. Because you dared to step outside their grip. See, it was never about the fight, not the trip, not the words exchanged or the tone you used or what day it was. It's always been about one thing: control. Control of the story, control of your emotions, control of you. Even a weekend away, hell, even going to the store reminds them you've got a life outside their little kingdom, that you're not an extension of them, and that burns. Because now they've got to yank harder on the strings. Because if you're separate, you're unpredictable, and if you're unpredictable, you're dangerous to the story they built, the one where they hold all the power. See, what really sets a narcissist off isn't the big dramatic breakup, it's the little rebellions that hit like paper cuts to their ego. Say no to something they want. Spend an afternoon with people who aren't orbiting around them. That's not just a casual no in their mind. That's betrayal. That's war. That's you abandoning them, even if you just needed a damn minute to breathe. And that's when the mask slips. Suddenly they're flipping out, accusing you of things that make zero sense, twisting every word you say like some deranged magician trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat that was never even there, drama out of thin air, rage out of nowhere. Why? Because they feel you slipping away, not physically necessarily, but emotionally, energetically, and that scares the hell out of them. But here's the part they'll never say out loud. Deep down, they know it's not about you. It's about them, their own fear of being left, their own terror of not being the center of gravity in your life. But instead of facing that fear head-on like a grown-ass adult, they do what they do best. They punish you for it. You made them feel weak? Boom. Now it's your fault. Now you're the villain. They'll lash out, disappear, ghost, guilt trip, hoover, whatever they need to do to flip the power dynamic back in their favor. Because a narcissist doesn't just hate losing, they can't tolerate it. They'll orbit back around after a breakup not because they miss you, but because they can't stand that you ended it before they did. You outplayed them, you walked away, and now they're spinning, scrambling to rewrite the script. They'll sit with their next target and spit out the same tired lines. She was too much. She went crazy. I tried everything. But the truth is this: they're not mourning you. They're mourning the loss of control, the loss of the version of the story where they held the upper hand. And the second you stop reacting, when you stop explaining, stop defending, Stop engaging in the chaos. That's when the real panic sets in. Because now they've got nothing. No ammo. No feedback loop. No chaos to feed off. So they hover. They bait. They push and pull and dig and claw, trying to get something out of you. Because without that emotional chaos, they've got nothing to stand on. It was never about love. It was about control. And the moment you take that back, that's when the whole illusion starts to crumble. At first you're loud. You're crying. You're begging them to just see you. Not the version they twisted in their head, but the real breathing human in front of them. You're reaching for something that looks like clarity, fairness, maybe even love. But here's the twist. The more you plead, the stronger they feel. Because your pain is proof. They've still got you on the hook. You're still spinning in their orbit. You're still reacting. But the moment you go still, when your words dry up, and your eyes stop pleading, and your silence finally settles in, that's when they feel it. The unraveling. That creeping panic. Because silence? That's the one thing they can't twist, can't flip, can't weaponize. They can't feed on it. They can't shape it into a story. They can't manipulate it. And that right there, that drives them absolutely nuts. So what do? They come slithering back in. Not because they've had some revelation, not because they finally see your worth, but because you took the power back, and now they've got to scramble to get it again. You know how it goes. Out of nowhere, ping. A text. I miss you. Then the I've changed parade starts. Suddenly they're spiritual, apologetic, a whole new person. But when that doesn't work, when you stay quiet, grounded, detached, the mask cracks. Now comes the rage, the guilt bombs, the lies, the smear campaigns. You were the abuser, they say. You're unhinged, they whisper to anyone who'll listen. Because if they can't get love, they'll settle for chaos. If they can't have your heart, they'll come for your peace. And here's the hardest pill to swallow. They don't miss you. They miss the control. They miss the ability to press a button, any button, and get a reaction. You were a vending machine, and they never had to pay. Push a button, get a tear. Push another, get an apology. Push harder, get you back. Different buttons, different reactions, but always a reaction. And when you finally jam the whole damn machine shut, when there's no response, no emotional payoff, that's when they lose it. Because you're not supposed to walk away. You're not supposed to stay gone. You're supposed to still be theirs, even after the damage, even after the chaos. But now, you're gone, really gone. And they can feel it in their bones. So what's left? They twist the narrative, gaslight you until you're doubting your own memories. You're left isolated, misunderstood, scrambling for clarity in a fog of lies. You've tried to leave before. Hell, you've tried everything. But nothing seemed to stick. Because the trauma bonds run deep, and their ability to distort reality even deeper. You weren't crazy. You were conditioned, trained like a damn circus act to doubt yourself, to shrink, to carry the weight of someone else's insecurity just to keep the peace. You weren't too sensitive. You were being emotionally gutted in slow motion, and then handed the blame for bleeding. All that growth you could have had, sacrificed. All the potential, all the light inside you, buried. You were trapped, not because you were weak, but because you were loyal to a lie. But guess what? That ends now, because there is a way out, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, soul-level escape. You don't have to keep living like this. You don't have to keep playing the role they wrote for you. Now here's what happens when the narcissist finally realizes you're really gone. Not silent treatment gone. Not we're just taking a break gone. I'm talking door locked, key melted, soul detached gone. That's when the walls start caving in. He doesn't get the last word. He doesn't get to rewrite the ending. He doesn't get to walk away first and frame himself as the noble hero. And that eats him alive. So what does he do? He reaches for the eject button. Someone new. Jump ship before he has to feel the consequences. But every now and then, he hesitates. He sits still. He lets that silence settle in. And when he does, it wrecks him. Because now he's got no control, no storyline to manipulate, and worst of all, He has to face the terrifying possibility that he got left. And not on his terms. Not with a safety net. Not with an ego-saving rewrite. Just abandoned. Fully. Finally. That's the moment everything snaps. Because the narcissist assumes you'll always be there. He thinks you'll bend, break, crack, but never leave. He believes he can ghost you, betray you, discard you, and you'll still be waiting for scraps of love that never come. But then one day, you don't. You stop waiting. You stop hoping. You close the damn door and don't look back. And that's when he spirals into desperation. Suddenly, here come the soft, sweet, "Hey, just checking in" texts, followed by "I've changed, and I'm working on myself, and you're the only one who ever understood me." It's a script, a performance, a Trojan horse filled with fake promises. Not love, control, not growth, manipulation, not apology, strategy. And if the hoovering doesn't work, if your silence holds firm, he flips the game. Now it's you who's the villain. Now he's telling people you were unstable, you blindsided him, you were impossible to love. Why? Because if he can't control you, he'll control the story. And if he can't control the story, he'll burn it all down, just to keep the illusion alive. This is where you hold the line. This is where your power lives. Not in proving your side, not in defending your truth, but in not engaging at all. Let the silence speak, because that's the one thing they can never rewrite. So here's how it plays out, just like clockwork. He paints himself as the poor, confused soul. We were doing so well, then she just walked out. I gave her everything, and she threw it all away. He plays the victim like he's auditioning for an Oscar, telling the world he doesn't know what happened. He tried so hard. He cared so much. And you're sitting there like, what the hell? Because you know the truth. You lived the truth. And the only crime you committed was choosing yourself. But see, he can't have that. That doesn't fit his script. That doesn't make him the hero of the story. So what does he do? He flips it, smears you, calls you crazy, tells everyone you were unstable, impossible to please. He's the sane one, the victim, the nice guy who just got burned. And if that doesn't land the way he wants, if people start side-eyeing his version of events, then boom, on to the next phase. Find a new supply. Fast. And this one hurts, because you're still raw. You're still in recovery mode. And now he's out there, love bombing the next one, like she's the queen of the universe. Posting photos, public declarations, smiling like nothing ever happened, making sure you see it, making damn sure you feel the sting. And you do, because that part of your brain, the one trauma rewired, starts whispering. Maybe he changed. Maybe she's getting the version I waited for. Maybe I was the problem. But no, that's just the illusion again. He hasn't changed. He's not better. He hasn't healed. He's just switched the mask and slapped a fresh label on the same toxic product. He repackaged the manipulation, gave it a new bow. And that poor woman? She's next in line. She has no clue the freight train coming for her. No idea she's in chapter 1 of the same horror story. Don't stick around waiting for the train to crash. Don't sit on the sidelines hoping to see it fall apart. Because you won't. Not publicly. Not loudly. That destruction happens behind closed doors, just like it did with you. And while you're watching, hoping, waiting, you're still playing the game. The only way out is through. And the only way through is to stop watching. Stop waiting for justice. Justice is your healing. Your peace is the revenge. Don't compare yourself to the new supply. She didn't win. She got chosen for the same reasons you once did. She just hasn't seen behind the curtain yet. And if you were so replaceable, so unimportant, why is he still watching you? Still lurking on your socials? Still asking mutual friends about your life? Still fishing for ways to get a reaction? Because deep down, he knows you escaped. And that scares him more than anything. You took back your power. You slammed the door. And now for the first time, he's locked out. Not because you're playing hard to get, but because you're done. And yeah, Healing feels weird at first. The peace feels uncomfortable. You spent so long addicted to the chaos that stillness feels like emptiness. But that's not emptiness. That's freedom. You're not missing him. You're missing the adrenaline, the emotional ping pong. That's trauma bonding. That's brain chemistry. That's conditioning. It's not love. It never was. Title: The Final Shift. When you stop feeling and finally start healing. Here's the part no one talks about. When you leave an abusive relationship, especially one wrapped in narcissism, it doesn't just hurt. It feels wrong, even when it's right. Because chaos was your normal. The pain, familiar, the highs and lows, that became your pulse. So when it's finally quiet, when there's no rage, no guilt trips, no walking on eggshells, your body doesn't celebrate. It panics. That's why so many people go back. Not because they don't know better. Not because they don't want better. But because peace feels foreign. And the silence? It's loud. But then if you stay the course, something shifts. One day, without fanfare, you wake up and you don't feel the urge to check your phone. You didn't cry yesterday. You didn't carry that invisible weight on your chest. You took a deep breath and it didn't hurt. That feeling? That lightness? That's you coming back to life. And that right there is what the narcissist fears more than anything. Not your anger. Not your words. Not even your leaving. But your indifference. Because when you become the person who doesn't need him, who doesn't crave the text, the apology, the twisted version of love he used to feed you, he loses. For good. See, the real opposite of love isn't hate. It's nothing. It's being able to look back at the storm he put you through and feel zero pull. No pain, no regret, no longing. That's the final freedom. That's where the healing begins for real. But maybe you're not there yet? Maybe you're somewhere in between, half in, half out. Maybe you still feel the tug. Maybe the what-ifs are gnawing at you in the quiet moments. Maybe you're wondering if you'll ever feel whole again, or if this is just who you are now. Let me tell you this. You will heal. You will rebuild. You will rise. But first, you have to choose it. Because closure, you're never getting it from him. Validation? You already know the truth. Permission to move on? You don't need it. All you need is you. And if you don't know where to start, if you're sitting there thinking, God, I hear all of this, but I don't even know how to begin, that's okay. That's why I'm here. You don't have to do this alone. Even if your friends don't get it. Even if the world around you doesn't understand the hell you walked through. I do. You were never meant to live in the shadows of his ego. You were meant to rise, to grow, to thrive. And let's make sure you never look back.